Hi, this is Morgan, a trainer with Troy Online Student Services. In this video, we're going to look at the official evaluation process and talk about the various aspects and offices that are involved. To start, as I've stated in previous videos, the official evaluation process for transfer credit begins as soon as a student is cleared from admissions. This means fully cleared, no temporary status. Additionally, only undergraduate credit goes through this process. Graduate students have their own way of petitioning for transfer credit to come in. So, who all touches the transfer credit situation? Well, first it starts with the evaluators in the evaluation center. What they do is they go through the various transcripts a student has turned in order to determine course equivalencies. This process can be quick, but in some situations can take up to 6 weeks, depending on how many evaluations are outstanding at that period of time. So when the advisor gets it, what happens is they're looking at the transfer equivalency report, also known as the TRER, as their starter. And they're using this report to compare it both to the original transcripts and then to the program evaluation. So a good way to think about all of this is to think of the idea of the transfer equivalency report, or the TRER, versus the transcripts. The advisors will literally take the original transcript and the TRER report and make sure that several things are happening. So we're going to glance at an example here. In this example, we see this particular clip from the original transcript. They took ENG 101, English Composition 1. They made a C in the course, and the course was 3 hours long. So that's what the original transcript says, and that is what we have to go by. Now, in addition to this, we want to take what we see on this transcript and we want to pull up the TRER. On the left-hand side of the TRER, you should see the courses as they were at the school. So we see here that course English 1101, Written Composition 1, 3 hours, and a C. So that pretty much matches what's on the transcript, the grade and the credit hours. So that's part of the process. Well, now we have to make sure that what we have transferred it in makes sense. So on the right-hand side of the TRER report, as we see highlighted here, you have the equivalent of English 1101 with a grade of C and 3 credit hours. So that matches pretty well. The final step in this would be to take this report and make sure that even though the right-hand column shows that the credits and hours match, we have to make sure it also matches on the program evaluation. If we see that there are discrepancies, then we'll need to contact the evaluation center to make sure that those discrepancies are taken care of. So it's pretty straightforward in terms of how do you do it. And again here, we have another example of a TRER report. So on the left-hand column, we see Math 1332, Contemporary Mathematics 1, with 3 credit hours and a grade of F. That has come over from Central Texas College as Math 1110 with an F and 3 credit hours. Moving to line 2 on this TRER report, we see that COSC 1301, Intro to Computing, with 3 hours and a grade of A. That has come over as IS 2241 with a grade of A and 3 credit hours. So we want to continue this process pretty quickly. So what happens if the advisor determines that everything looks pretty good? Well, the next step for them will be to go into the SACP screen in DataTel. Once there, they will detail into the printed comments section, and generally you find this on the right-hand corner. And you'll want to type in official evaluation last updated, and then they'll timestamp it. If you are looking at an evaluation that doesn't have this indicated at the top of the program evaluation, there's a good chance that the program evaluation was never reviewed. So always check and make sure that the evaluation is finished prior to making any sort of advising suggestions.